Hi guys, it's Carol. How are ya? We got some snow. This is right in front of my patio. That was about 6 hours ago, and I think, judging by the footsteps in the snow, I think we must have gotten about 6 inches. My daughter, that lives, I live on the south side of town. She lives on the north side of town. She has 13 inches. She stuck a yardstick in it. But she measured her snow tonight about 8:30, I think. The weatherman says the snow should stop about 1 in the morning, so no telling how much we'll have by then. Uh, I haven't gotten out in it. They say the streets are just a sheet of ice. Part of I 40 towards New Mexico is closed because of all the wrecks and ice. My apartment is all electric, so I hope the electricity doesn't go out or I'll get pretty cold. But really, I'm not worried about it. The dogs and I have a ton of blankets. We will be just fine. And otherwise, not much going on here tonight. Today, I watched President Carter's funeral, bits and pieces of it. Um, if you want to know what good is, just listen to the eulogies for President Carter. I was really touched. He was the first president that I remember voting for. Yesterday, my grandson and I had a good discussion about President Carter. I explained to him how he was a peanut farmer, um, went to the Naval Academy, left the Navy to come home when his dad died to take over the peanut farm. It, it's a, it's hard for me to understand. President Carter was elected president in 1977. That was 36 years before Rhett was born. Just because I remember things so clearly, I forget that my grandkids don't know these things. So Rhett and I had a good discussion all about what I could remember about the Carter years and his family, his mother. um, I thought a lot of President Carter. Can I share some interesting tidbits about President Carter? And let me tell you right now, I do not want to hear anything about his politics. I don't care what your opinion of his politics is, was, will be. Do not leave me any comments about anything political. The man's funeral was today. But I'll tell you some interesting facts. Jimmy Carter was the first president to be born in a hospital. And he probably would have been born at home, but there was a doctor in Plains, Georgia, that convinced his mother to have her child at the hospital. Now, Miss Lillian was a nurse and a midwife. The doctor, it is said, the doctor convinced her to have her baby at the hospital because his thinking was she could come back to work earlier if she had the baby at the hospital than if she had it at home. Now, Jimmy Carter married Rosalind. He met her when she was a baby. His mother delivered Rosalind. She was the town midwife. When Jimmy Carter was 3, Rosalind was delivered by his mother. His mom encouraged the young Jimmy to hold the baby. He did so for a moment, said she was gross, and passed the newborn back to his mother. 19 years later, they got married. Did you know he won 3 Grammys for his for the spoken word album category for his recordings of 3 of his books? And did you know he wrote a lot of books? He wrote 32 books, all of which were bestsellers. Someone in an interview, someone asked him something about why he wrote books or how did he like writing books, and he said, because it beats picking cotton. I just love him. He won a Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. Only 3 other presidents have ever won the Nobel Peace Prize. In 1906, Teddy Roosevelt won one, or was awarded one. In 1990, Woodrow Wilson, and in 2009, Barack Obama. One of the quotes from his speech upon receiving the Nobel Prize really spoke to me as a mother. What his statement is, war may sometimes be a necessary evil, but no matter how necessary, it is always an evil, never a good. We will not learn how to live together in peace by killing each other's children. Now, when he was in school in Georgia, high school only went through the 11th grade. So when he was in the 11th grade, he should have been valedictorian. However, on April Fool's Day, he skipped school with some other boys to go to another town and go to the movies. And because of that, he got zeros for the day and he wasn't valedictorian. Whenever you hear anything about Jimmy Carter, they say he was a peanut farmer, which he was a peanut farmer. But his naval career, he was a nuclear engineer physicist. A nuclear engineer physicist. And in fact, he worked in a nuclear reactor while it was melting down. In 1952, Ontario Research Facility experienced the world's first nuclear reactor meltdown. The United States Navy sent several men to help remove the damaged core, including President Carter. He was Lieutenant Carter at the time. Now, these men could only work inside the nuclear reactor for 90 seconds at a time to limit radiation exposure. All of them suffered dangerous levels of radiation. Mr. Carter's first job in public service was on the library board for their county library. He and the other members of the library board set up a bookmobile to come to Plains, Georgia, so that everyone would be able to check out books. Mr. Carter got into politics because of the civil rights movement. Now, about the time that he went home to save the family business is about the time the civil rights movement started. Well, in Plains, Georgia, there was something called the White Citizens Council to fight back against the civil rights movement. They wanted to keep segregation. Mr. Carter was the only white man in town who refused to join the White Citizens Council. That caused a lot of boycotting of his business, but he stuck to his guns. And because of this racial segregation thing is why he decided to get into politics. First he was governor, then senator, then president. When he decided he was going to run for president, and he told his family members, now he had no national recognition. He was the governor of Georgia, but he wasn't really into politics. When he told his family that he was going to run for president, his mother, Miss Lillian, said, "President of what?" Oh, and you might think that they were rich people. They really were not. After his presidency, before he became president, he had turned over the running of the family businesses to a team of lawyers so there wouldn't be any conflict of interest. So while he was president, he wasn't really involved in the family business. When he was coming home after his presidency, he was told that the business was $1 million in debt. And that's when he started writing books to get this debt paid off. Well, anyway, so we're going to back up again. I'm sorry this is here, there, and everywhere, but I'm just thinking. When he was governor and he decided he was going to run for president, and Miss Lillian said, "What?" The band, the Allman Brothers, they were Georgia boys, was very popular. Now, Governor Carter was giving a party and had invited the Allman Brothers to come. They were recording a song, and by the time they finished, everybody had left the party, but they went ahead and went. When they got to the little guardhouse, Greg Allman told them to tell the governor he was sorry they were late and they were going to leave, but the guard told him, no, come on, keep on going up to the mansion. So Greg Allman is going up to the mansion, and he sees somebody on the porch. There was a guy, no shirt, no shoes, wearing a pair of Levi's, and Greg said to himself, who is this bum on the governor's mansion porch? Well, it was the governor. He brought Mr. Allman in, and they talked for a couple of hours. Governor Carter told him that he wanted to run for president, but he didn't have money. And he wanted the Allman Brothers Band to do some benefits for him. They raised $60,000. That funded the start of President Carter's campaign to run for presidency. I've got a frog in my throat and I can't talk, so I'm going to shut this off now. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Let me know what's going on in your corner of the world. I realize you guys in the Midwest and the East Coast have a lot more snow than we do, but thought I'd show you what snow we got. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.